There is something almost offensive about the idea of gratitude when you are in the middle of despair and your world is darkest. When everything feels like it's falling apart, when the weight of every circumstance presses down so heavily that you can barely breathe, the last thing you want to hear is, be grateful, be thankful, oh, give thanks. I understand that, I truly do. But here's what I've discovered: gratitude in the midst of hardship isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's not toxic positivity wearing a spiritual mask. It's something far more honest, far more powerful than that. Here is the paradox: it's precisely in our darkest moment that gratitude shines brightest. Think about it: a candle in a broad daylight barely registers, but the same candle in a pitch dark room, it transforms everything. It doesn't eliminate the darkness, but it reveals that darkness doesn't have the final word. This is what 1 Thessalonians 5:18a means when it tells us to give thanks in all circumstances, not for the darkness itself. God isn't asking us to be grateful in our pain or to celebrate our suffering, but in the darkness, there is still something to be grateful for: the candle, the resiliency, the provision, that small light that showed up even in here. We are not thanking God for the pitch dark room. We are thanking Him for the flame that refuses to go out in it. We are not grateful for the storm. We are grateful for the anchor that holds us steady in the storm. When you are drowning in despair, gratitude doesn't change the water level. It doesn't make the storm disappear or the waves calm down, but it does something equally miraculous. It helps you to notice the piece of wood or rope you are clinging to. It reminds you that you are still afloat and that your head is still above water. It shows you that even in the desperate moment, something is still holding. There is no beauty in the circumstances. The beauty is in what gratitude reveals about the circumstances. That even here, even now, life hasn't completely abandoned you. That's not denial, that's defiance. An act of defiance is what gratitude becomes when you are in a desperate situation. It's one of the most courageous things a human being can do. When everything around you screams defeat and failure, when even the voice, including the one in your own head, tells you it's over, choosing to notice even one small thing to be grateful for is rebellion. It's you saying this situation is terrible, yes, but it doesn't get to write the entire story. It doesn't get to define all of your reality. It doesn't get to define you, and it doesn't get to say the final word about what you see and who you are. Desperation, hopelessness, and depression wants to convince you that nothing good remains, that everything is lost, that hope itself is a lie. Gratitude looks at your situation in the eyes and says, the situation is real, but it's not the end of the world. The sun rose this morning for me, and someone still cared enough to check up on me. The fact that my heart is still beating is a testimony that all is not lost. This isn't about minimizing your pain. It's about refusing to let the pain maximize itself into the only thing that exists, and that takes strength, real, raw, gusty strength. Now, here is what happens when you practice gratitude in hardship. You begin to shift from a mindset of scarcity to a recognition of sufficiency. Despair is a tyrannous accountant. It obviously catalogs everything that is wrong, everything that is missing, everything that has been lost. It creates a ledger where the deficit column stretches on forever while the asset column remains blank. And the more you stare at the ledger, the more hopeless everything feels. Gratitude doesn't erase the deficit column. It doesn't pretend the losses aren't real, but it does something radical. It starts filling the asset column, not with grand dramatic entries, but with small true ones. Like, I woke up today. Someone loves me. I can still feel sunshine on my face. I have this one friend who hasn't given up on me. My body is fighting for me even when my mind isn't. These aren't consolation prizes. They are the foundation stones, and you cannot build from nothing. You can build from something. Gratitude is the beginning of transformation, not when your circumstances change, but when you see your circumstances differently. You are in a desperate place right now. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat that or try to talk you out of acknowledging it, but I want you to understand something crucial. Even in this desperate place, you are not standing on nothing. There is ground beneath your feet, however small that patch of ground might feel. Gratitude helps you to locate that ground. It helps you to find that foundation stone, the one thing, however small, that's still solid. And once you've found one stone, you can find another and another, not to build a palace overnight, but to take one step forward instead of staying frozen and sliding backwards. The transformation doesn't happen because gratitude makes your problems disappear. It happens because gratitude changes what you are able to see. And what you are able to see changes what you are able to do. When you can see one gift, you can take one step. When you can take one step, you haven't been defeated. Now let's explore how to practice gratitude. I need to be honest with you about something. If you are in despair right now, you probably don't feel grateful. And that's okay. That's completely normal. Gratitude, especially in hardship, isn't primarily a feeling you conjure up. It's a practice you commit to. It's a decision you make before the feeling arrives. You decide to notice, you decide to name, you decide to honor even the smallest good, even when your heart feels numb to them. You might start by simply saying out aloud, "Today, I'm grateful for," and finish that sentence with the most basic, humble thing you can honestly name. Maybe it's just, "I'm grateful I made it through another night." That counts. That's real. That's your candle in the darkness. Some days the practice will feel mechanical. Some days you will fight yourself to do it. Some days you might not even feel anything at all when you name what you are grateful for. Do it anyway, because you are not trying to manufacture a feeling. You are training your eyes and mind to see what despair wants to hide from you. Over time, I can't tell you how long, because everyone's timeline is different, but the practice creates the pathway. Your brain begins to notice these things more automatically. The shift in perspective that felt forced becomes more natural. The foundation you are building one stone after another becomes steady enough to hold more weight. This is what I want you to remember. Gratitude doesn't change your current circumstances, but it changes you in your current circumstances. And sometimes, changing you is the key that unlocks everything else. Because when you change what you can see, you change what's possible. When you change what is possible, you change what you can hope for. And when you change what you can hope for, you change what you can move towards. The circumstances might not shift immediately. The hardship might not lift right away. But you begin to shift. You begin to lift. And that matters more than you know right now. Gratitude reveals the beauty that was always present but hidden by despair's shadow. Not the beauty of perfection or ease, but the beauty of resiliency, the beauty of what remains, the beauty of your own stubborn refusal to let darkness have the final word. So wherever you are right now, whatever you are facing, I want to ask you something. What is one thing, just one, that you can name that is still good, that is still present, that is still holding? It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to fix anything. It just has to be true. Find that one thing. Name it. Honor it. Let it be your first foundation stone. And then when you are ready, find another. You are not standing on nothing. You never were. Gratitude simply helps you feel the ground beneath your feet. That ground is real. You are still here. You are still alive. You are still healthy and strong. And that means something beautiful, that the story isn't over yet. Let's share a word of prayer. Great provider and protector, we thank you, not for the darkness we face, but for being the light the darkness cannot overcome. We thank you for every provision, every breath, for your grace is sufficient, and remind us that when we are hard pressed on every side, we are not abandoned, even in our darkest moment. Help us to see with eyes of gratitude what despair tries to hide, and give us the courage to take one more step on the foundation you've already provided. Amen.